Archangel Michael is crying, tears of joy, because you finally found this. A meeting was held in heaven just for you, and beloved, they finally allowed me to reveal it to you. Hurry, heaven's final decision will vanish in 45 seconds. There are moments in life when we feel like the light has gone out, when the noise of the world drowns out the quiet voice within us that once whispered hope, and we forget we are not alone. But something sacred brought you here. Not by chance, not by coincidence, but by the gentle leading of a hand you may not have seen, yet one that has never stopped holding you. You are here because heaven wanted you to remember. You are here because God has something to say to your heart. You may not realize it yet, but this is a holy moment. Type 222 if you believe. Somewhere, far beyond our eyes, above every storm, beyond every fear, a meeting of love and grace took place in heaven. God looked upon your heart, the pain you've carried, the tears you've hidden, the prayers you've spoken in the dark when no one else was listening. The angels leaned in. They saw it all. And in that meeting, heaven didn't just acknowledge your suffering, it decided it was time for your heart to know the truth: you have never been abandoned. You have always been seen. And now, the gates of hope are opening again. The gentle voice of the Father is calling you, not with thunder, not with fire, but with a love so deep it cannot be measured. He is not disappointed in you. He's not angry. He's not distant. He has waited patiently for you to find your way back to this moment. And now that you're here, the light that seemed lost is about to return, not just to your mind, but to your soul, where it matters most. There are things the world cannot give. No amount of success, no amount of attention or approval can heal the wounds that life sometimes leaves behind. But in God, healing is not only possible, it is promised. You are not being asked to be perfect. You are not being asked to be strong. You are simply being invited to open your heart, just a little, to remember what it feels like to be held, to be understood, to be loved beyond all reason. That's what Jesus came for. That's why he stayed close, even when you felt furthest from him. Jesus is not a distant figure locked away in stained glass windows or hidden behind rituals you can't understand. He walks where you walk. He sits with you in silence. He listens without judgment. When you broke, he stayed. When you wept, he gathered each tear. When you didn't know how to pray, he spoke for you in heaven, because his love speaks louder than your fears. There is something beautiful happening right now. Even if you can't see it, even if nothing around you changes instantly, something inside you is waking up. Maybe it's that quiet warmth in your chest, that soft ache that says, maybe I can hope again. That is Jesus. That is the Spirit of God. That is the answer to a prayer you may not even remember praying. The tears of Archangel Michael are not for sorrow. They are tears of joy because the moment has arrived that heaven has waited for. The moment when you are reminded of your worth. When you are reminded that you were never forgotten. When all of heaven smiles because a child has come home to the truth. The struggles you faced were never your fault. A hidden brain frequency, once buried in secret research, has been silently holding back your wealth. Now, for the first time, it is available to you, and it only takes minutes to activate. Imagine the chains of debt breaking, the doors of opportunity opening, and your life flooding with prosperity. This chance may never return. Click the link in the video description and comments below to claim it now. The truth is this: you are still loved. You are still chosen. Nothing you have faced, nothing you have failed, nothing you have feared can erase the plans God has for you. And no, you haven't missed your moment. No, it's not too late. God is not finished with you. He is just getting started. Type 1111 if you trust in God. There is nothing more powerful than a heart that turns back to God. You don't have to understand it all. You don't have to explain why you walked away or why you stopped believing. You just have to come back, just as you are, and allow yourself to be embraced again. Jesus never stopped reaching for you. He never stopped believing in your future. He's not ashamed of your story. He's not counting your mistakes. He's counting the hairs on your head, the beats of your heart, the possibilities waiting to bloom if you just let him back in. So let this be your moment. Let this be the turning point. Not because the world is perfect. Not because everything is fixed. But because your heart is ready. Because something deep inside of you is saying, I want to live again. I want to believe again. I want to feel close to God again. And heaven is answering, yes, beloved. Yes, it's time. Yes, we've been waiting. This is not just a message. It's a divine whisper meant for you. Heaven has spoken. The angels rejoice. And Archangel Michael's tears are not in vain. They fall because love has won today. Because you finally found what your soul was searching for. Type 1212 if you walk by faith. Long before you opened your eyes this morning, heaven was already singing over you. While you carried your worries, trying to hold yourself together, the Father had already sent angels to watch over your every step. While the weight of life pressed down on your shoulders, a plan was unfolding that you couldn't yet see. Nothing about you is random. You were never overlooked. You were never meant to live in silence, hiding your wounds as if they disqualified you from God's love. Your soul was handcrafted by the same one who painted the skies and shaped the stars. Your life is not small to him. Your pain does not go unnoticed. God has counted every silent tear, every breath you've taken when you felt like giving up, and he has treasured it all, not with pity, but with a compassion that runs deeper than any ocean on this earth. There's a reason the name of Jesus still echoes with power after centuries. It's not just a name. It's not just history. It is the living breath of God made known in love, in mercy, in the gentle arms of a Savior who chose to suffer so that you would never suffer alone. When the world left you broken, he stayed. When others walked away, he remained close, kneeling beside you in your pain, waiting for the day your heart would awaken to his presence again. And beloved, that day has come. You may not feel holy. You may not feel strong. You may even question whether you deserve this kind of love. But heaven has already spoken. You do. Not because you earned it. Not because you lived perfectly. But because God chose you before time began. Because Jesus took every doubt, every mistake, every regret, and said, "This one is mine." And He has never let go. Type 555 if you believe God is with you. The heart of God isn't complicated. It doesn't require you to jump through hoops or hide your flaws. It asks only that you come as you are. Bring the mess. Bring the questions. Bring the guilt, the shame, the anger, the fear. He can hold all of it. He already has. And still, He calls you worthy. Still, He calls you beloved. Do you feel that quiet stirring in your soul? That's not your imagination. That's the Spirit of the Lord breathing gently upon your heart. He's not here to overwhelm you. He's here to carry what you no longer can. He's here to remind you that your life still has purpose. That your dreams are not dead. That the ashes of your past can still bloom with beauty, because God doesn't leave His children in ruins. He rebuilds. He restores. He brings light out of even the deepest darkness. This is not just encouragement. This is heaven's reality pressing into your soul. There is healing for you. Not someday. Not for someone else. But here. Now. You were never meant to carry the weight of your past forever. You were never meant to keep pretending you're fine. Jesus came so that you wouldn't have to pretend anymore. He came so you could be fully known and fully loved, even in your most vulnerable place. That's the miracle. That's the gift. That's the invitation heaven is holding out to you right now. Let go. You don't have to earn what's already yours. The love of God is not a reward, it's your inheritance. It's your birthright as a child of the Most High. The world may have told you otherwise, but heaven knows your name, your story, and your destiny. There is no brokenness that can separate you from His embrace. There is no fear that can undo what Christ has already done for you. Even when you felt far from Him, He never took a single step away. You have always been in His reach. Always in His care. Always under the watchful gaze of the One who knew exactly when to bring you back into alignment with His promises. So now, beloved, breathe. Let your heart rest for a moment. You've fought hard. You've survived more than most people know. And yet here you are, not by accident, not because you stumbled onto the right words, but because God has been gently guiding your path back to Him. His love is not a fleeting feeling. It's the foundation of who you are. It's the song that has always played beneath the noise of life. And it's calling you now, clearer than ever. You don't have to be afraid of being too much or not enough. You don't have to explain your scars to the one who bore them first. Jesus understands what it means to suffer, to be rejected, to be misunderstood. And because He understands, He loves more deeply than anyone ever could. He doesn't offer shallow comfort. He offers redemption. He offers peace in the storm, strength in the battle, and joy that rises from ashes. Today, heaven's gates are open wide, not just for a glimpse, but for you to walk in. Walk into grace. Walk into rest. Walk into healing. Because you're not forgotten. You're not invisible. You are the reason the angels are singing. You are the reason Archangel Michael's tears fall like rain, because one more heart has returned to the light. and all of heaven rejoices. Type 222 if your faith is rising again. You may have thought this was just another passing moment, another quiet evening where you scrolled through your thoughts, looking for something to soothe the ache inside. But the ache is not random. The ache is sacred. It is your soul remembering something that the world made you forget, that you were created to be loved by God, and no amount of failure, shame, delay, or wandering could ever change that truth. When the winds of life pushed against you, when grief stole your words, and when loneliness wrapped around you like a heavy blanket, heaven did not turn away. Instead, it leaned in closer. It whispered softly through the stillness. You didn't recognize it at the time, but the strength that kept you breathing through it all was never yours alone. It was grace. Quiet, patient, everlasting grace. God does not need you to be perfect. He simply wants you to be present. He wants your heart, not your performance. Your honesty, not your mask. There is no ceremony you must complete, no achievement you must reach, to be worthy of love. Because the one who made the heavens and the earth has already called you by name, and that name was spoken in love before the first star was placed in the sky. What if you could unlock a secret brain wave that top scientists discovered inside the hippocampus, the very switch that signals wealth and abundance? Hidden from the public for decades, this breakthrough can rewire your mind to attract prosperity faster than you imagined. Picture the stress of bills replaced with financial freedom and new opportunities. Every delay is a missed blessing, and those who act now are already walking into the wealth you deserve. Step forward before the door closes. Click the link in the video description and comments below to activate this ancient money wave and step into abundance today. Jesus is not far from you. His presence is not limited to sacred spaces or ancient texts. He is the warmth that finds you in your most fragile moments, the calm that enters the room when no one else understands. He is the hand that steadies your trembling heart, the comfort that rises from within when you are too tired to pray. Even when you didn't know how to reach for him, he reached for you. Type 1919 to receive his peace. There's something holy about remembering where you've been and realizing you were never walking through it alone. You've made it through so much, nights filled with tears, mornings full of questions, seasons of waiting and wondering if any of it had meaning. And now you're beginning to see, it all led you here. Every step, every misstep, every delay was covered in a grace you couldn't see until now. The angels have watched you with awe, not because you were flawless, but because even when everything told you to quit, you didn't. Even when you doubted your worth, you kept going. Even when you felt unlovable, something inside you dared to keep your heart soft. That kind of quiet courage is rare. That kind of hope, even when buried deep, is why heaven rejoices over you. You are not forgotten. You are not beyond repair. You are not too late or too far gone. What the world called broken, God calls beautiful. What others dismissed, heaven crowns with honor. You are the living proof that mercy still speaks, that redemption is not a dream but a promise, and that love, true, divine love, is not afraid of your story. Jesus doesn't flinch at your wounds. He touches them with compassion. He doesn't rush you to heal. He walks with you slowly, patiently, until the fear begins to fade and trust begins to grow. That's the kind of Savior He is. Not distant. Not disappointed. But always near, always tender, always ready to begin again. There is healing for you, not just for the visible parts, but for the deep places, the silent corners of your heart that no one else has seen. Healing for the self-doubt, for the guilt you've carried for far too long, for the moments when you felt like you had to hide the real you just to be accepted. Jesus sees you, fully, and still, He calls you precious. If you close your eyes for just a moment and breathe, you might feel it, the lifting of a burden you were never meant to carry. That's what happens when heaven touches earth. That's what happens when grace is finally received, not just believed in theory, but embraced in truth. You don't have to strive anymore. You don't have to pretend. God already knows, and He's not going anywhere. This is your holy invitation to begin again, not by force, not out of fear, but through love. Let the past be what it was. Let the hurt rest in the hands of the one who heals. You are allowed to hope again. You are allowed to feel joy without guilt. You are allowed to believe that maybe, just maybe, the best is not behind you. Heaven believes it. Jesus believes it. And somewhere deep inside, so do you. There is more to come. Not because you deserve it by worldly standards, but because grace does not operate by rules, it flows from the heart of a God who cannot stop loving His children. Every sunrise still rising for you, every breath still in your lungs, every heartbeat carrying you forward is a reminder, your story is not over. It is just beginning. In this very moment, the angels are still singing. Not with noise, but with reverent joy, because a soul remembered. A heart turned back to love. A light returned to its source. And Archangel Michael, mighty protector of heaven's truth, smiles through the tears that still fall, because you remembered who you are. You may not feel like something divine is unfolding, but rest assured, it is. For heaven does not move in loud announcements or flashing signs. It moves gently, through whispers to the soul, through warmth that reaches the heart when all else has grown cold. Type yes to affirm your place in God's heart. Do not be afraid to believe that you are loved. This is not wishful thinking. This is not an empty hope. This is truth, the kind that comes straight from the throne of God and wraps itself around you even when the world feels distant and dark. The love that is reaching for you now is not weak or wavering. It is eternal. It does not shift with your mood, nor does it disappear when you stumble. It stands like a lighthouse through every storm, unwavering, always calling you home. Somewhere along the way, life may have convinced you that love had to be earned, that peace was only for those who had it all together. But that's not the voice of your Father. That's not how Jesus moves. His love is not based on performance. His grace does not depend on perfection. Instead, He meets you exactly where you are, no matter how tired, confused, or lost you might feel, and offers rest, not rules. He offers comfort, not criticism. There is something deeply holy about the way God loves. It's not always loud, but it is always steady. It's the kind of love that waits at the door without judgment, that watches over you while you sleep, that prepares blessings for you even in seasons when you felt unworthy to receive them. You may not have seen it, but every day heaven has been working behind the scenes, protecting you from what you didn't even know was coming, lifting you when you didn't have the strength to lift yourself, and drawing your heart back, little by little, until you were ready to receive this truth again: you are not forgotten. Type 666 if you trust Jesus. A mysterious 9-word prayer once sealed inside a private government vault is now resurfacing, and people everywhere are seeing financial breakthroughs overnight. Experts say it triggers a long silent part of the human brain responsible for abundance and wealth attraction. It takes less than 30 seconds to repeat, yet it's turning struggle into prosperity. Thousands are reporting cleared loans, sudden cash inflows, and unexpected blessings. Click the link in the description and comments before this secret disappears again. There is something sacred happening inside of you right now. Maybe you can't explain it. Maybe you've spent so long numbing the pain or pushing through the noise that you forgot what peace even feels like. But even now, you can sense it returning. That soft, still presence. That gentle warmth that doesn't demand anything of you. That's Jesus. That's His Spirit wrapping around you like a blanket on a cold night. He's not asking you to be strong. He's just asking you to stay. Stay in this moment. Stay open. Stay connected to the truth that you are still loved, still valuable, still a part of something much greater than the sorrow you've been carrying. Heaven has not run out of grace. The hands of God have not grown tired of reaching for you. His mercy is not a one-time offer, it's new every single morning, flowing freely, abundantly, with no strings attached. You are not here by accident. This moment, this very breath, is part of a divine invitation. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to pretend to be okay. You only need to let go, just a little, and allow yourself to be held. There is no fear in the arms of Christ. There is no shame in His presence. Only love that knows no bounds, only healing that flows freely, only grace that wraps itself around every part of you. You may have spent years trying to be enough, for others, for yourself, for a version of God you thought demanded perfection. But here's the truth: you were already enough when you were first created. You were enough when you cried your first tears. You were enough when you failed, when you tried again, when you wondered if God still saw you. He did. He always has. The world may have told you otherwise. Life may have tried to break you. But here you are, still standing, still breathing, still holding on to the tiniest flicker of hope. And beloved, that hope is not small to God. That hope is holy. That hope is powerful. That hope is the reason angels surround you now with joy, because they know that even the faintest whisper of faith can awaken the greatest miracles. There is a miracle rising for you. Not just in your circumstances, but in your soul. A soft renewal. A healing that doesn't depend on what others say, but on what God has already spoken over you. You are His. You are cherished. You are not a burden. You are not a mistake. You are not beyond the reach of heaven. Let the weight fall. Let the fear loosen its grip. Let your heart come back to the place it's always belonged, in the presence of the One who formed it. There is so much beauty ahead, not because life will suddenly be perfect, but because now you walk with the one who makes all things new. With Jesus, nothing is ever truly lost. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is impossible. His light shines in the darkest places. His voice speaks peace in the loudest chaos. His love remains even when everything else fades. And right now, that love is yours to receive, not tomorrow, not after you fix things, but now. This is not just a message. It is a holy reminder, a whisper from heaven echoing through time to find you exactly where you are. Don't let it slip away. Don't push it aside. Lean into it. Breathe it in. Let it rest inside you like a soft flame that cannot be put out. Type 2020 to claim miracles. You were not forgotten when things fell apart. You were not unseen when you sat in silence, wondering why it hurt so much to feel alone. Every time your heart ached for peace, every time your soul longed for something deeper, heaven heard it. Not one sigh escaped God's notice. Not one moment of exhaustion passed without the gentle covering of His Spirit surrounding you like soft light. There is a miracle waiting within you, the kind that does not begin with lightning or thunder, but with stillness. The kind that does not change the world around you first, but awakens something far more powerful, the belief that you are still worthy of joy, still destined for more, still held in the center of divine love. For too long, you may have measured yourself by your pain, your setbacks, your regrets. But the Lord does not look at you and see the things you wish you could change. He sees the strength it took to survive. He sees the love you gave, even when you had none left for yourself. He sees the prayers you whispered in the quiet, not because you expected answers, but because something inside of you refused to let go. That something is called faith. And it is alive in you, even now. You may have wandered. You may have questioned. You may have even walked away from the thought of God because the weight of life made it too hard to believe. But God never walked away from you. Not once. He stayed. Through every storm, every dark valley, every empty night, He stayed. And now, He's whispering again, not to shame you, but to call you gently back to the truth that never stopped being true: you belong to Him. This is your invitation to stop running. Not out of fear. Not because you're being pulled. But because it's finally safe to be still. Safe to rest in the truth that you are known by the Creator of the universe, and still loved beyond measure. Not in some distant, unreachable way, but in a real, close, healing way. The journey back to Him doesn't require you to prove anything. It only asks for one step of surrender, one small opening in your heart to say, "I'm ready." Ready to feel again. Ready to trust again. Ready to let grace be louder than shame. Ready to let peace replace anxiety. Ready to let love win. Type 1818 if you're ready to receive it. Heaven knows you've tried to do it all alone. It knows the burdens you've carried quietly, the strength you've borrowed just to keep going. But now, it is time to release what was never yours to hold. God is not asking you to carry the weight of the world. He is asking you to place it in His hands. He is asking you to trade your weariness for His rest, your fear for His peace, your brokenness for His wholeness. Buried deep in forgotten archives, a 9-word phrase once hidden from the public is now transforming ordinary lives. Neuroscientists call it a wealth frequency activator, because it awakens a part of the brain that naturally draws prosperity. It takes just seconds to speak, but the change can last a lifetime. People are waking up debt-free and financially secure. The page could vanish at any moment. Click the link before it's gone for good. The miracle of this moment is not that everything suddenly makes sense. It's that you are no longer facing it alone. It's that now, with each breath, the presence of Jesus is drawing nearer. He is not the kind of Savior who waits on a pedestal for perfection. He is the kind who kneels beside you in the dust, the kind who reaches down when you can't rise on your own, the kind who holds your trembling hands and speaks only love. You are not here to be punished. You are not being reminded of your failures. You are being called into freedom. Freedom from shame. Freedom from fear. Freedom from every lie that told you you were too much or not enough. The truth is simpler and more beautiful than you've ever imagined. You are a child of God. You have always been His. Nothing can change that. Not your past, not your doubts, not your wounds. So let your soul exhale. Let your heart soften. Let the presence of God reach into the places you've kept hidden. He's not afraid of what's there. He's not disappointed. He knows your full story and still says, "Come to me." Because nothing about you scares away His love. Nothing about your story disqualifies you from His promise. And even now, the angels are watching, singing softly. The skies are stirring with joy. Because you, the one who thought they were forgotten, the one who doubted they were worthy, have been found again by love. And heaven is rejoicing over you. This is not a dream. This is not a coincidence. This is what it feels like to be wrapped in truth. You don't have to rush. You don't have to figure it all out. Just keep opening your heart. Keep letting light in. Keep choosing grace. One breath, one thought, one gentle surrender at a time. Because every single step you take toward God is met with 1,000 more from Him. He's been waiting. He's been watching. And now, He's wrapping you in the kind of love that never leaves, never fades, and never gives up. Type 1717 if you know heaven is moving for you. You've walked through seasons that tried to steal the very breath from your chest. You've carried weights that would have crushed others. You've faced days when you wondered if anyone, even God, could understand the kind of tired that lives deep in your soul. And yet, you never gave up completely. You still looked up. Maybe not always with confidence. Maybe not with words. But you looked up, and that was enough for God to meet you in the silence. Jesus never demanded that you be fearless. He never asked you to walk through pain without trembling. He never expected you to be anything more than what you already are, His. The broken pieces you've tried to hide? He's seen them all, and He still calls you beautiful. The regrets you've buried deep in your memory? He holds them gently, never to shame, only to heal. And the dreams you thought were lost forever? He hasn't forgotten a single one. There is something sacred about your scars. Not because they were ever meant to exist, but because in the places where life left wounds, God now brings the most tender redemption. You may not realize it, but healing is already happening. Right now, as you breathe these words in, something old is being released and something new is being born. Not because of pressure. Not because of force. But because love makes a way where there was none. Type 444 if you believe your healing has begun. You are not here to beg for God's attention. You've had it since the beginning. You are not here to earn what was already yours. God's favor isn't a prize. It's a gift, unshakable, unearned, unstoppable. This world will always try to convince you that your worth is something to prove, that your value lies in doing more, being more, trying harder. But heaven speaks a different truth. It says you are worthy now. You are loved now. You are enough now. You've been carrying the weight of silence for too long, as if your voice didn't matter, as if your tears weren't holy. But beloved, they are. Every ache, every cry, every whispered prayer you thought disappeared into nothing has been caught by the very hand of God. Not a single breath of yours has gone unnoticed. And right now, even in your stillness, heaven is surrounding you with comfort. Let your soul feel that. Let yourself trust it, even if only for a moment. Let the walls fall. You don't need them anymore. Not with Him. You don't have to hide your fears behind strength. You don't have to pretend to be okay. Jesus doesn't need perfection. He just needs honesty. He wants the real you, the one who's tired, the one who's unsure, the one who's been longing for a kind of love that doesn't give up when things get hard. That love is right here. And it's not going anywhere. Let it reach the places you've kept guarded. Let it sit with you in your questions. Let it stay even when you feel unworthy. Because that's exactly what it does. It stays. It sees. It heals. There are no conditions to His love. There are no boundaries to His mercy. You don't have to fear the future, because the one who holds it is the same one holding you. And His hands don't let go. His heart doesn't turn away. His eyes don't miss a thing. He sees everything about you, the broken parts, the beautiful parts, the messy middle, and He chooses you every time. You are not behind. You are not too late. You are right on time for what God is about to do in your life. Don't measure your story against someone else's. Don't let comparison silence your voice. You were never meant to follow anyone else's timeline. God is doing something specific in you, something sacred, something slow and steady and completely tailored to your soul. What if a simple 7-minute sound frequency could awaken a forgotten brain signal designed to pull wealth toward you like a magnet? Backed by shocking CIA files and neuroscience, this discovery is now changing lives everywhere. Think of debts melting away, promotions arriving, and abundance flowing freely. This is the one moment that can rewrite your future, but only if you claim it now, because hesitation will only keep you chained to the same struggles. Click the link in video description and comments below to experience the hidden wealth wave and let your financial destiny shift in your favor today. The wait hasn't been wasted. The detours haven't been meaningless. Every part of your journey has been leading to this quiet awakening. And even if you can't explain it to anyone else, even if no one around you understands, heaven does. Jesus does. He's been walking beside you all along. And he's not finished. You're still being shaped. Still being restored. Still being drawn closer into the heart of the Father. The process is holy. The healing is real. The love is eternal. Let yourself rest in that. Let yourself believe, even just a little more than yesterday. Let your heart open again to the possibility that joy isn't something you left behind. It's something you're walking toward. And right now, right here, God is smiling at you, not because you've done everything right, but because you're here. Because you're listening. Because your heart is still open. And that is enough to move heaven. Type 333 if you know God's light is on you now. You are not lost, even if you've wandered. You are not broken beyond repair, even if you felt shattered. You are not invisible, no matter how many times you've sat in silence, hoping someone would notice your heart growing weary. The Lord has never turned his eyes away. He has watched over every moment of your story, even the ones you wish you could erase. And still, he chooses you. There is something beautiful about the way God moves. He doesn't come crashing in, demanding attention or forcing change. He enters gently, like the hush before sunrise, like the warmth that lingers in the air before a breakthrough. And that's how he's moving through your life now. Quietly, powerfully, intentionally. This moment, this breath, is not just another second slipping away. It's sacred. It's wrapped in grace. Even if you've doubted, even if your prayers have come with long pauses and broken words, even if you've stopped believing miracles were meant for people like you, God hasn't stopped believing in you. He hasn't stopped writing beauty into your future. He hasn't stopped sending angels to guard your steps, especially the ones you took while trembling. It's okay if your faith has felt small lately. God isn't asking for strength you don't have. He's not expecting you to carry it all. He's simply inviting you to lean on him. To fall if you must, knowing he will catch you. To cry if you need to, knowing he holds every tear. He doesn't need you to impress him. He just wants you to trust him. One moment at a time. Type 1313 if you're trusting him again today. There is something so sacred about softening your heart after it's been hardened by disappointment. Something so powerful about opening your hands after you've clenched them in fear for so long. It takes courage to believe again. And even greater courage to love again, especially when your heart has known heartbreak. But that's what the Spirit of Jesus is breathing into you now, courage. Gentle, quiet courage that whispers, "You are safe now." He doesn't rush your healing. He sits with you in it. He doesn't demand that you hurry through the pain. He lets you rest. And when you're ready to move again, he walks with you, not behind, not ahead, but right beside you. That's who he is. He's the Savior who never leaves your side. You may not feel like you're changing, but something deep within you already is. Every time you let grace speak louder than fear, every time you let love crack through the walls around your heart, every time you breathe through the weight and whisper, "God, I'm still here," the heavens respond. The angels rejoice. And Jesus draws even closer. This is not about being fixed. This is about being loved. You were never called to be perfect. You were called to be present, to let God be near, to let Him carry the things you were never meant to hold alone. And right now, His presence surrounds you more completely than you know. Even in the places that still ache. Even in the thoughts you haven't shared with anyone. He knows, and He stays. He understands, and He comforts. God has always chosen the weary. He has always whispered hope into broken hearts. He walks with the ones the world overlooks. He lifts up those who feel like they're falling behind. And He calls them blessed. That means you, right now, right here, blessed not because of what you've done, but because of who He is, and because of how deeply He loves you. This is your moment of mercy. It's not loud. It's not grand. But it is holy. And heaven sees it clearly. You are not the sum of your failures. You are not defined by your delays or detours. You are the beloved child of a Father who planned your existence before time began. Nothing you've walked through has disqualified you. In fact, God is using every part of your journey to shape a future more beautiful than anything you've lost. You don't have to hold your breath anymore. You don't have to keep waiting for the other shoe to drop. The storm may still rage, but peace is already rising within you. Not a shallow peace, but one that's rooted in something eternal. Peace that says, God is with me.